Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly press conference. Today we have two items. First, we're going to showcase two new projects that HANDS is doing right here. And second, we're going to promote the Erie Census contest that's going on right now. I'm very excited this morning to showcase two new construction projects being undertaken by HANDS. These two projects involve the Boston Store and the Midtown Corridor Revitalization Project. For the Boston Store project, the city was able to allocate $500,000 to assist with renovations. And for the Midtown Corridor Revitalization project, the city allocated $740,000 to the construction of 10 new apartments. Next, I'll ask Debbie Smith to explain the city's role. I'll ask Deb Smith to explain the city's role and the origins of the funding. And then Matthew Good, Executive Director of HANDS, will provide details on the projects and next steps. Deb.
Thank you, Mayor Schimber. Good morning, everyone. The Home Investment Partnership Program, which is called the HOME Program, was established by the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990. It provides grant funding through formula allocations to states and local governments to strengthen public-private partnerships and increase the supply of affordable housing for low and very low income households who are at below 80% of the area median. At least 90% of home funds used for rental housing must be invested in units that are affordable to and occupied by households who are at 60% of the area median. The City of Erie's role is to partner with developers, subrecipients, and community housing development organizations to provide affordable housing in the City of Erie. The city has been a partner with Housing and Neighborhood Development Services, which is HANDS, since 1994 to assist and bring affordable housing into the City of Erie. The city must ensure that the home-funded housing units remain affordable in the long term, which is 20 years for new construction of rental housing and 10 to 15 years for rehabilitation to existing rental housing. The 10 to 15 years depends on the amount of home subsidy. $500,000 of home federal funds from various funding years was allocated to the Boston Store, an existing multifamily housing development for rental housing to the 125-unit building. 15 of these units are home-assisted units. 92 are for residents whose income is 50% or 60% of the median income, and 33 are market rate. The total project cost is $7.2 million. Also, $740,000 has been allocated from various home funding years to the Midtown Revitalization Project for 10 newly constructed apartments. Funding will come from tax credits and other funding sources for a total of $5.6 million. All 10 home units will serve households at or below 50% of the median income. Thank you to Matthew Good and Tim Althaw for this long-standing relationship with the City of Erie. We appreciate everything that HANDS is doing in the City of Erie to ensure that there is affordable housing for individuals and families who need it most. We look forward to continually working with HANDS in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deb, and you're absolutely right. We really do appreciate what Matthew, Tim, and HANDS are doing for the City of Erie. Also, though, Deb, I appreciate what you and your excellent staff in the Department of Economic and Community Development are doing. You always stand ready to assist and help developers with creative solutions. Thank you very much. Next, Matthew Good will share the details on these two HANDS projects and what we should expect next. Matthew.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Good. I'm the Executive Director of Housing and Neighborhood Development Service, or HANDS, and I want to welcome the mayor and his staff here to the Midtown neighborhood of the City of Erie. I also want to offer congratulations to Deb Smith for her new role at the city and the Director of Economic and Community Development. We've worked with Deb, well, I have for about 12 years now at HANDS, and we've been working on, I should have done a count, but many units of housing here in the City of Erie have come through this office, and we're very grateful for the support that we've received and will continue to receive, hopefully, on future projects. I wanted to tie my remarks a little bit about affordable housing and the programs that we utilize back to the importance of completing the census. And I know we're in our last 30 to 40 days of completing the census, and we need to put the push on. But the federal home program that Debbie talked about, as well as a lot of the private equity sources that we receive to build affordable housing, are all dependent on a per capita count. And therefore, all of that comes from the U.S. Census Bureau. So having an accurate and thorough count is very important. And I kind of went off my script a little bit, but I really wanted to tie the details of this Midtown project and the Boston store to the importance of completing the census. Here at this particular location of 14th and Parade, we see the results of both public and private funds that have been allocated and awarded based upon the census that was completed in 2010. Both the federal home program that Deb talked about and the $5.6 million in private tax credit equity that are helping to complete these projects are completed with data based upon the U.S. Census. Midtown Revitalization involves the rehabilitation and creation of affordable housing for low and moderate income families, as well as involving blight remediation, historic preservation, and neighborhood improvements, such as the creation of 2 parks, stormwater improvements, paved alleyways, and landscaping improvements for the entire area between Holland and Parade Street from East 12th to East 14th Street. By the end of next summer, there will be 15 homes that will be rehabilitated to incorporate energy efficiency upgrades and various other components to enhance the appearance and the durability of these homes. 3 new buildings will be constructed with new housing units, and 1 existing building, the building behind me, will be rehabilitated to include a new hands office here on Parade Street and 1 new apartment. The federal home program funds administered by the City of Erie will be used toward the new construction apartments that include several ADA-compliant housing units. The private equity enabled us to acquire the properties, provide for the rehabilitation and site improvements, and the balance of the new construction. Hands has a 20-year presence and commitment in this neighborhood that once had some of the highest crime rates in the City of Erie and is now a quality, affordable housing community in the City of Erie. And with other partners such as EMTA, private landowners, and the Griffith family with the Lovell Place, is a perfect example of why people should complete that census and permit additional investments in our neighborhoods. And just a short distance from here, Boston Store Place in the heart of downtown Erie, and that housing community has also benefited similarly with funds awarded and allocated through the home program and private investments. Over the last year, both home program funds and private funds have gone to acquire and rehabilitate the Boston Store. While the clock and the clock tower have received the most attention, the HVAC system has been upgraded and replaced with high-efficiency boilers. The cooling tower that was operating at 30% capacity when we bought the building is now at 100%. Roof leaks have been fixed, and some dangerous situations with masonry have been fixed. A building at only 80% occupancy when we purchased the building is now in the mid-90s, and that enables us to invest more as we collect more rental income we can put back into the building. I personally can remember the Boston Store in the early 1990s when I first moved to this community. It was boarded up, completely vacant, dank and damp. It had a very distinct smell when you walked by the Boston Store. But now this historic structure provides 125 apartments for income ranges from affordable and to low and moderate income all the way to market rate. So it's a housing community that serves all income. It's home to iHeartMedia and Voodoo Brewery, and we're in the last stages of finalizing another major anchor tenant for the Boston store along the West 8th Street side of the building. So all of that has happened in the last year and enabled with the funds and the investments we've received. I just want to, again, finish with thanking everybody for coming today and encourage everybody to complete the census and to be invested, because that data is resulting in investments in our neighborhoods, and when you walk around this area, you can certainly see how it pays off. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew, for these two great projects you've got going on. We really appreciate all that you and your entire team are doing to make Erie City neighborhoods welcoming and vibrant. Congratulations on receiving this critical HUD funding as well. My team and I are excited to assist you and make affordable housings like this a reality here in Erie. This brings me to the important next topic, which is the census. And Matthew, thank you for stressing how important the census is in the transformative projects that HANDS is doing in Erie. If we don't get an accurate count on the people living in Erie, the amount of funding we can provide for projects like this will be greatly reduced for the next 10 years. We'll have less money to take care of our parks and streets, to provide public safety, and to help our community centers, neighborhood groups, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. Last week, the U.S. Census Bureau announced that they are ending the census operations on September 30th, which was a month earlier than planned. The city of Erie is currently only at about 62% of our response rate. If we don't get a complete count, it will be devastating to our community. The census also impacts community development block grants, our emergency solution grants, and our home funding that we receive from HUD. This will also reduce funding to Erie Public Schools. If everyone living in Erie does not complete the census, it can also reduce our representation in the United States Congress and the Pennsylvania Electoral College, which is who actually votes for and elects the next president. To give people an even more reason to complete the census, I'm very proud that my team and I, led by Renee Lamus, has begun a citywide contest. Anyone living in Erie who has completed the census can go to this website, censuserie.com. There, you can enter to win prizes, and the prizes are, every week, we'll be doing a drawing and giving out $100 in gift cards to local restaurants and businesses. And at the end, there'll be a grand prize drawing for $1,000 in cash. So if you need some motivation to complete the census, hopefully that gives it to you. So once again, to enter this contest, once you've completed the census, just go to censuserie.com, and that's censuserie.com. For every person not counted, we lose $2,100 per year for the next 10 years in federal funding. As of right now, based on our current reporting, we would lose $80 million in federal funding every year for the next 10 years, and that's just the city of Erie. Remember, the personal information you provide that you report to the census is kept strictly confidential for at least 72 years, so you don't have to be concerned about disclosing information. There are only 9 questions to complete. It doesn't take long. In fact, my wife, Rhonda, and I did it a couple months ago, and we have a daughter living with us as well, so there were 3 to report, but it took us less than 10 minutes to do the reporting. Completing the census is one of the most important things that all of you can do this year. It will only take you 10 minutes to complete and submit the report, and it will have a positive impact on you, your family, and our entire community. And that impact will be for the next 10 years. So please, take the census. That concludes today's press conference. Everyone who spoke will be available for interviews. Thanks very much.